now let's talk about tips and troubleshooting so we can have these effective conversations when it comes to finance. So, as I said earlier, it's really rare for a couple to have exactly the same financial goals or even the same ideas about what to spend and what to save. There was another survey I saw of these financial advisors in the UK where they said that more than a third of the couples said that the biggest reason for tension between them, I'm sorry, the financial planner said it about the couples they work with. They said the biggest reason for tension between couples during the financial planning meetings was a disagreement over lifestyle goals. And this is why getting to those beliefs, bringing them out into the light of day is so darn important and why I can't say enough about it. Okay? So, how do you set those important conversations up for success? All right, I've got a few tips. Tip number one, and this is what I've been preaching over and over through this whole thing, is that you have to be transparent. It's important to put all your cards on the table as early in the relationship as possible, but it's never too late. I don't care if you've been married 20 years and this is all coming up. I don't care if you've been dating 3 years and moved in and didn't ask a question. Now's your time. It's very important to be clear about your expectations, your wants, and where your finances stand. So I want you to ask questions like, again, it would be great during dating or when, not the first date, but when you start to become more serious. What's important to you when it comes to money? Actually, I don't even mind that question on a first date. Fuck it. Like, if that's something that's really, if you're a little older now, or I don't even care. You could be young and ask it. Maybe not the first date, but, soon. If I remember when I started dating seriously, when I thought I wanted to have kids and get married for the first time, I thought those were things I said right away because I didn't want to waste my time. I didn't want to sit around. So if I was talking to someone who didn't eventually, I'm like, we don't have to get married tomorrow or anything, nor do I want to, but I want to know that that's something that is important to you. So that was something I asked and that my kid's dad said yes to, so we could continue. But we did ask the money questions early, right? What's important to you when it comes to money? How do you most like to spend your money is one of my favorite dating questions. Hey, how do you like to spend your money? Like, what gives you joy around money? How do you decide what to save? That's a good way to figure out how they problem solve a budget or not a budget or whatever, or that they have no savings. Again, it can be fine to have no savings for you, that you might not care about that either, but you should know. How much debt do you have? I'd want to know. Are there any assets? Do you own a home? How much debt is on that home or condo or whatever, or cars? Do you have a budget is a good question to ask. Hey, do you have a budget? Like, how do you do that? If not, how do you decide on spending and saving without a budget? What do you expect from a partner when it comes to money? How has money worked in the past in your relationships? How do you think about that? How do you think about money in relationship to other things? What do you do when we go on vacation? How did that work? All those things, really, really important. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is something I've said 100 times. I'll say it again right here, is when you have these money conversations, don't ask questions. So when you want to have any type of money conversation, it's the same to me as having any kind of conversation about your sex life. You have to be prepared and open. Sex and money are very hot topics, right? For many people and many couples. And I think it's because most people don't allow themselves to get really vulnerable when they have these conversations. Instead, shame is at the helm. It's led by shame, and that results in a ton of defensiveness and anger and sadness and fighting and all this stuff, right? It's the money shame again. So you have to go into the conversation with the following ideas, okay? So the don't remember SAC, don't sack, don't offer suggestions, give advice, or criticize. I know. Don't offer suggestions, give advice, or criticize. You're going to ask questions instead, which I'll do that in a minute. I want you to go in the conversation. Here's really the top thing. Let me do that, and then I'll go to the sacking again. You want to go into any conversation about money trying to learn something, not prove something. If you're going in to prove, like you're doing it wrong and here's the right way, you're screwed. If you're going in trying to learn, like, why does this person think this way? Tell me more about how you grew up with money. What was your dad like around money? Did you ever get an allowance growing up? What'd you get the allowance for? Find out what they believe. Find out what they think about money. And what you believe is the proof is always in the pudding. I can tell what anybody believes about money by how much money they have in a lot of ways, like what's around them, how they treat money. I remember dating, this is a long time ago, but I remember dating a woman who she used to throw money in her bag, like just throw it. It was very weird. Like she didn't have a wallet. She was kind of disrespectful with her money. It's the only way I could think to say it. Like I'm always facing my money and having it nice and neat in my wallet, very arranged. The bills are in descending order. I'm so funny about it. I always like to have cash. I just have a thing like you have to have cash just in case. I used to only pay with cash, and then the pandemic sort of changed that into where a lot of places don't take cash anymore. So that did shift. But again, it depends. That's a money thing for me, but you want to really, you got to be open going in. If someone was going to talk to me and was like, well, that's just stupid to pay with cash because it's so much smarter to put it on a credit card and then, get miles or improve your credit or whatever, right? And it is. That makes more sense. I come from my background with more of a poverty mentality and fear around that stuff. I had parents who declared bankruptcy a couple times at least. And so I'm afraid of credit cards. I get scared of those things. And I'm not saying it's right the way I do it. I'm saying I have a reason. There's money, emotionality attached. And sometimes, even when you know the reason, and even when you know it's not the smartest, most financial way to go, it still makes me feel safe and secure to do it the way I do it. So that's how I do it. I don't know that, I don't know. I've done a lot of work on myself. I'm not sure I'm going to go crazy on this particular thing. And that's okay. It's okay for me and it's okay for you. But you got to be aware. I am aware of it. I'm aware of it. I check those things. We talk about them. So go in to learn something, not prove something. I don't try to convince Gary or my kids or anyone else that what I do is the right way. I try to explain to them actually why I do it the way I do it so they can have a better understanding of me. And maybe they would have some great input that would let me change my mind about it. I don't know. It's great. So, do better there. The other thing is to check your own beliefs at the door, kind of what I'm already saying. You have to go in with the idea that your way of dealing with money isn't any more right than your partner's or your dad's or whoever else's. And then, of course, is the don't sack. Don't offer suggestions, give advice, or criticize when you're having these conversations. And instead, you want to ask collaborative questions. I know I talk about them a lot. Can you tell me more about that? If this was a great money conversation, what would I say first? What would I say last to you? Right? Anything like that. And you really want to listen like you're wrong in these conversations. I want you to try to identify and discuss any money shame or beliefs that are holding you back. Okay. And then I really want you to listen to episode 124 of this way back. That must have been season 2, maybe 3. How to listen without getting defensive or hurt. So you can look up that title. You can come to the website, episode 124. You can search for it, do whatever you want. But in that episode, I detail my 7-step process for having an effective conversation with tricky subjects just like this. So I don't want to repeat all that here. I'm always trying to give different information. Otherwise, I'd just be repeating myself every broadcast, and every broadcast would take 7 hours. So go back, listen to that one. It's definitely one of the more popular episodes I've ever done. And to me, it's a 101, communication 101 thing that you should have in your pocket. But that will really help you set up for the effective conversation. I'm giving you some broad brushstrokes. That is going to give you the nitty gritty. And then my last tip, which is a nitty gritty, is start having a monthly financial meeting. It's really important to sit down together to create a budget, to work from a budget, and then review your budget and your savings plan month to month. It's really critical for creating a feeling of being a shared resource, being a team as you approach your finances in your relationship. When you sit down each month and you go over your budget and your goals, like what are our shared goals? You're going to find yourself collaborating as a couple. And there was another large survey, again, I'll link to in the show notes, that showed that couples who make their financial plans together fare much better than couples where one person is in charge. Not only do they get along better and report higher satisfaction, but they're more likely to have money left at the end of the month and are more likely to save money. I know. How do you like that? Kind of amazing. Now, I have a fabulous little gift for you. I have a monthly financial meeting outline that I give to my clients when I assign this. And so you can come on over to the website, abbymedcalf.com. You can come to either the show notes page, which is like the podcast page, or you can go to the relationship tips and tools, which is the blog page. And there will be a link to the monthly financial meeting outline.